The past is filled with secrets, some forever lost to the passage of time. No matter how smart we are or how much we investigate things, there will always be some things we can't understand. Deep in hidden caves, giant bones tell stories of a long time ago. What were these giants? Then, imagine standing by a quiet river when suddenly, out of nowhere, a UFO appears. Now, think about a day like any other in Kentucky, except for one thing: meat falls from the sky. The Lost Colony of Roanoke remains a puzzle with its cryptic message. In 1518, Strasbourg was seized by an uncontrollable dancing plague that defied explanation. And let's not forget about a flight, MH370, that took off one day and simply disappeared. With each piece of wreckage found, the mystery only deepens. Welcome back to another episode of Forever Green. From vanished civilizations to unexplained phenomena, the chronicles of human history are riddled with unanswered questions. Today, we'll show you some of the strangest unsolved mysteries of human history and find out if they've been solved or are they still mysteries. So let's dive in. 14. The Lost Colony of Roanoke. In the late 16th century, an entire colony vanished from Roanoke Island. The settlers of Roanoke, led by John White, sought to carve out a new life in this unknown territory. White, after establishing the colony, returned to England for supplies, leaving behind his family and fellow colonists. But when he finally made it back across the treacherous Atlantic, delayed by war and weather, he found the settlement deserted. Homes were abandoned and no sign of a struggle or haste was evident. The only clue to the fate of the 115 souls left behind was the word Croatoan, carved into a wooden post, and the letters CRO etched into a tree. What had become of the Lost Colony of Roanoke? Had they been decimated by disease or attacked by neighboring tribes? Or had they tried to integrate with local Native American tribes, specifically the Croatoan people, as the cryptic message suggested? Searches were mounted, theories proposed, but no definitive evidence has ever come to light. The fate of the Roanoke colonists remains one of the greatest mysteries in the history of the United States. 13. MH370 Disappearance. In the year 2014, a flight set off into the skies, destined never to reach its end. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, with 239 souls on board, disappeared into thin air, sparking one of the most confusing mysteries of modern aviation. It was as if the Earth had opened up and swallowed it whole, leaving behind no trace, no clue, and a world grappling with unanswered questions. The flight took off from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing, but somewhere over the South China Sea, it veered off course. The last message from the cockpit was hauntingly mundane, a simple "good night" from the co-pilot to air traffic control, then silence.
370, 3 to right of takeoff. Nice. 3 to right of Malaysia 37, thank you.
The aircraft vanished from radar screens. Theories abounded. Had the plane suffered a catastrophic failure? Was it an act of terrorism, a hijacking gone awry, or something even more sinister? Some proposed that the aircraft had glided far from its last known position, landing in some remote, undiscovered location. Others whispered of darker scenarios, of deliberate acts by those within the cockpit. In the years that followed, scattered pieces of wreckage washed ashore on distant islands, silent witnesses to some unknown tragedy. Each piece offered a tempting clue, yet the final resting place of MH370 remained elusive, lost in the vastness of the ocean. 12. The Tangoa Explosion. Deep in the heart of Siberia lies the scar of a mystery that shook the earth, the Tangoa Explosion. On a summer morning in 1908, an immense blast flattened 2,000 square kilometers of forest, collapsing approximately 80 million trees and sending a shockwave across the land that could be felt around the world. Yet no crater was found, no meteoritic remains discovered. What unleashed such disastrous force remains one of the 20th century's most confusing mysteries. Was it a comet? Its ice and dust evaporating before impact, leaving behind no trace but its destructive energy? Or perhaps a meteorite? Some even whispered of interstellar origins, a spacecraft's catastrophic demise upon encountering our world. Others spoke of natural gas explosions from beneath the Earth. Expeditions to the site have uncovered microscopic spheres of silicate and magnetite in the soil, hinting at a cosmic visitor, but conclusive evidence remains elusive. 11. Lan Isle Mystery. Off the rugged coast of Scotland lies a small, windswept island called Lan Isles. It's here in December of 1900 that 3 lighthouse keepers vanished into the thin, cold air, leaving behind a mystery as chilling as the winter winds that hit the island. The Lan Isles Lighthouse was meant to be a beacon of safety, but instead it became the setting for one of the sea's darkest tales. When a relief boat arrived to deliver supplies and rotate the keepers, they found a spooky silence hanging over the island. The door was unlocked, the clocks had been stopped, and there was food left uneaten on the table. 2 of the 3 oilskin coats were missing, suggesting that the keepers had left the lighthouse in a hurry. Yet the logbook entries made no sense. They spoke of severe storms and one of the keepers being quiet and withdrawn, even though weather reports indicated calm conditions. The final entry simply read, "Storm ended, sea calm, God is over all." What could compel 3 experienced men to abandon the safety of their lighthouse? Searches turned up nothing. The men had vanished as completely as if they'd never existed. Over time, theories abounded, from accidental deaths swept away by the sea, to alien abductions, and even portals to other dimensions. But the truth, it seemed, had been swallowed by the waves. Talking about mysteries, don't forget to check out Forever Green's video on 10 mysterious things found trapped in ice. 10. The Wow Signal. In the quiet of an Ohio night in 1977, a telescope pointed toward the stars captured something extraordinary. It wasn't a distant galaxy or a comet streaking through the dark, but a signal. The signal was so strong, so clear that it caught the attention of a lone astronomer. He was so astonished by what he saw that he circled the signal's printout and wrote a single word beside it: "Wow." This signal, known ever since as the Wow Signal, was like a shot in the vast silence of space, a beacon that bridged the infinite gap between us and the unknown. For 72 seconds, it blared through the space, captured by the Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University, and then vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving behind a trail of questions and the echo of its mystery. What was the source of this signal? It appeared to come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, but beyond that, the trail went cold. Was it a message from an advanced civilization reaching across the stars, or was it a natural phenomenon? The discussion continued. Some people believed in the possibility of alien intelligence, while others thought there was a simpler explanation. But without more proof where the signal came from, it's still a mystery. 9. The identity of Jack the Ripper. The infamous serial killer who terrorized London in the late 19th century remains unidentified. His identity lost to the shadows of time. In 1888, the Ripper claimed the lives of at least 5 women. The precision of his methods suggested a knowledge of human anatomy, leading to speculation that he might have been a surgeon or a butcher. The city was gripped by fear, the police puzzled and outmatched by the Ripper's cunning. Letters, taunting and cryptic, were sent to the police, claiming responsibility for the horrible acts. But were these letters truly from the killer, or the work of imposters drawn to the infamy of the case? Theories about the Ripper's identity abound. A disgraced royal, a mad doctor, a skilled butcher, or perhaps someone entirely unnoticed. Suspects were named, then cleared. Evidence was examined, then dismissed. The Ripper seemed to vanish as suddenly as he had appeared, leaving behind a legacy of fear and fascination. 8. Disappearance of the Sodder family. In the dead of night, on Christmas Eve of 1945, a tragedy struck the Sodder family in Fayetteville, West Virginia. Their house was consumed by flames, and in the chaos, 5 of the 9 Sodder children vanished without a trace. George and Jenny Sodder, along with their surviving children, could only watch in horror as their home and supposedly 5 of their children were reduced to ashes. But when the fire died down and the search for the bodies began, not a single trace of the 5 missing children was found. No bones, no remains, nothing. How could 5 children simply disappear into the night? As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the Sodder family started to question everything that they had been told about the fire. They wondered, was it an accident or was it set on purpose? And more importantly, were their children really caught in the blaze or were they taken? Rumors began to swirl. Some said the children had been seen getting into a car that night. Others claimed to have spotted them in distant cities, alive but far from home. The family put up billboards and offered rewards, desperate for any information that might lead them to their missing children. Years turned into decades, and the mystery of the Sodder children remains unsolved. 7. The Yuba County 5. After a basketball game, 5 young men disappeared in California in 1978. This is the tale of the Yuba County 5. A mystery that remains like the frost on a winter morning. Gary Mathias, Jack Madruga, Jack Hewitt, Theodore Wire, and William Sterling. These were the names of the young men who disappeared. Their journey began with a drive to Chico for a basketball game, but their destination would become something far more sinister. When their car was found, abandoned on a remote mountain road, the puzzle only deepened. Inside the car were their wallets, maps, and clothes, but of the men, there were no sign. As search parties explored the wilderness, hope decreased with each passing day. Then, a break in the case, or so it seemed. A Forest Service trailer, miles from where the car was found, held the answer to part of the mystery. Inside, the body of Theodore Wire was discovered, starved and frozen despite the presence of food and fuel for heating. The others were found scattered in the district in the following months, except for Gary Mathias, whose fate remains unknown. But this discovery only raised more questions than it answered. Why had they left the safety of their car? What led them to the remote and unforgiving wilderness? Theories abounded: foul play, a tragic misadventure, or something more mysterious. 6. Kentucky Meat Shower. One day in March 1876, in the quiet countryside of Bath County, Kentucky, something completely mystifying rained down from the clear blue sky. It wasn't water, nor was it hail. It was meat. Yes, meat. Flesh falling from the heavens. It would leave the witnesses and later the world scratching their heads in confusion. This event would come to be known as the Kentucky Meat Shower. The meat, which appeared to be beef, although some claimed it was lamb or even human, covered an area of about 100 yards long and 50 yards wide. The residents, brave or perhaps foolhardy, tasted the meat, confirming its animal origin. But where had it come from? How had chunks of meat come to rain from a clear sky? Scientists of the time were puzzled. Theories abounded. Was it a bizarre act of God, a freak weather phenomenon, or something more earthly? Some suggested that a flock of vultures had disgorged their meals mid-flight. Yes, this theory, while plausible, left many questions unanswered. If you like this video so far, leave a like, and you can also check out 40 Mysterious Animals That Have Rarely Been Seen, Part 3, on our channel Forever Green. 5. The Sugoro Inscription. Deep in the heart of England, in Staffordshire, stands an 18th century monument shrouded in paradox, the Shepherd's Monument. Inscribed upon its surface is a sequence of letters that has puzzled scholars, historians, and codebreakers for centuries. O-U-O-S-V-A-V-V. Below these letters, a line with the letters D-M. This mysterious inscription, known as the Sugoro Inscription. The monument itself is a pastoral idyll, featuring a relief of Nicholas Powson's painting The Shepherds of Arcadia. Itself a work steeped in mystery and whispers of secret societies. But it is the inscription that has captured the imaginations of the world. What message was the creator of the monument trying to convey? Is it a declaration of love, a cryptic clue to a hidden treasure, or perhaps a secret known only to the initiated? Many have tried to decode the Sugoro inscription, applying every technique from classical cryptography to modern computational methods. Theories have ranged from the simple to the fantastic, linking the inscription to everything from the Holy Grail to the tomb of Jesus Christ. Yet despite the best efforts of minds both brilliant and imaginative, the code remains uncracked, the message as impassable as ever. 4. The Dancing Plague. In the year 1518, the streets of Strasbourg bore witness to an event so strange it seemed as if the town had been cursed by a spell. A woman stepped into the street and began to dance. There was no joyful jig or festive snap, but a hectic, unstoppable dance. And what was most terrifying is that she was not alone for long. Within a week, dozens had joined her, and by the end of the month, hundreds were caught in this uncontrollable dance. The phenomenon came to be known as the Dancing Plague. The dancers, driven by some unseen force, continued day and night, their feet bleeding, their bodies racked with pain and exhaustion, yet they could not stop. What would cause such a bizarre outbreak? Was it mass hysteria, a curse from a revengeful saint, or perhaps something in the water or food that drove them to madness? Physicians of the time were puzzled, labeling it as a natural disease caused by hot blood and suggesting the curious treatment of more dancing. Stages were even set up, and professional dancers brought in to dance alongside the afflicted in hope of ending the curse. But the dancing continued, and some even danced to their deaths from sheer exhaustion or heart attack. 3. Pascagoula UFO Abduction. In the quiet waters of the Pascagoula River in Mississippi 1973, an event unfolded that would engrave itself into the annals of UFO lore. Two men, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, claimed that they encountered the unthinkable, an abduction by beings not of this world. On a serene October evening, a strange craft, releasing blue lights and making a buzzing sound, descended upon them. Before they could react, three bizarre objects with robotic appearances and elephant-like skin took hold of them, paralyzing their will to resist. The descriptions of these creatures were unlike any typical human or animal on Earth. They had no visible eyes, ears, or mouth, yet seemed to communicate through some unknown means. After what felt like an eternity, the two men were released, left standing on the banks of the river. Hickson and Parker immediately sought help. Their story quickly became a media sensation. Skeptics and believers clashed over the authenticity of their account. The men underwent lie detector tests and passed with flying colors, and were examined by psychiatrists who found no evidence of hallucination or deceit. The incident sparked a burst of investigations. Some pointed to the men's unshakable consistency in their story. Others speculated on more earthly explanations, yet none could fully dismiss the detailed and vivid account shared by Hickson and Parker. 2. Discovery of large skeletons. Beneath the endless blue skies of the American Southwest, nestled within the rugged canyons, a tale emerged that defies explanation and challenges our understanding of history. It's a story of discovery, of giant skeletons unearthed in the depths of cave systems, hidden from the light of day for centuries. These skeletal remains, much larger than those of modern humans. The accounts vary, with some telling of explorers and prospectors stumbling upon these gigantic remains in quiet caves, their skull and bones suggesting a stature far exceeding that of ordinary men and women. Descriptions of these finds were met with awe and disbelief, fueling speculation and debate among historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts of the mysteries. Were these the remnants of an ancient race of giants, as suggested by local Native American legends that speak of a powerful people who once roamed the land? Or could they have been the ancestors of myths, their true nature lost to the sands of time? Yet the stories continued, passed down through generations, capturing the imagination of those who heard them. Number 1. Ark of the Covenant. The legendary artifact, said to contain the Ten Commandments, has been lost for centuries. Its existence and location are one of the greatest biblical mysteries. Shrouded in the midst of ancient history, the Ark of the Covenant remains one of the most sought-after remnants in the lore of mankind. Said to be a chest holding the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, given to Moses on Mount Sinai, it represents not just a physical artifact, but a symbol of divine presence and power. Constructed by the Israelites under the direct instruction of God, the Ark was more than mere furniture. It was the embodiment of God's covenant with His people. It was housed in the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem until the city was sacked in the 16th century BC. From that moment, the Ark vanished from the pages of history, its fate becoming a topic of legend and speculation. Over the centuries, theories about the Ark's whereabouts have thrived. Some claim it was hidden away by the prophet Jeremiah, concealed in a cave to protect it from the invading Babylonians. Others suggested it was taken to Ethiopia, where it resides to this day in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion, guarded by monks who claim lineage back to Solomon himself. Yet no conclusive evidence has been brought to light to confirm these claims. The search for the Ark has been fraught with danger and intrigue, a quest that echoes the biblical trails of those who sought to stand in the presence of God. And that's it for today. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating adventures from Forever Green.